Hello and welcome everybody. This is our fantastic finale. It is our final plot point for this unit. And over this writing unit, we've had highs, we've had lows, but what is obvious is the friendship that has developed between Sean, the central character, and the lost thing. And in fact, I think we've developed a friendship too. I'm so delighted you're here and you're ready to write, and your word weaving has been truly wondrous. My name is Mrs. C, and you're going to be working under my wing. We work on grammar, we work on techniques, and we really think about sharp and precise language. But there are certain time frames in which we work because we are always pens up. Think at pace, jot quick, writing's ace. So, everybody, are you ready to hear who's made it on the celebration board? Well, it is Ella. And Ella's work has been sent in to me from home, and that's great. And you, Ella, are my overall super sentence stacker. Your writing is absolutely tremendous, and what you do, Ella, is you've been asked to accomplish something and you've done it exactly how you should have. Let's have a read of Ella's wonderful work. The door opened in slow motion. A strange land was appearing. The land filled with wonder, bubbling with happiness and sprinkled with fun. Things were swaying about, things were flipping over, things were floating across. What an absolutely unique place. And Ella, what an absolutely unique writer. Oh, efficacious in your work there, doing exactly what we needed to do. Great accomplishment. And then who's made it on the stack? Well, Sadie, you're in year 4. That's sent in by mum, Natalie Ross Monroe. I'm just going to big up all the mums, all the grown-ups who were doing online learning, dads, granddads, grands, everybody's carers. Well done, everybody. Such great effort and such love and support from everybody. So genuine big heartburst. Thank you to all of you. But look at Sadie. She's really intrigued us with this imagery here. Look, at a snail's pace. Oh, I've got excited about my other animals there. At a whale's pace, unhurriedly the door opened. Do you know what's so clever about that? Is that snail is really probably the more predictable thing. That's why I said it. And she's gone for something really unusual. Well done, Sadie. And Gracie from St. Bartholomew's School, you've got, well, you've actually been very victorious with verbs because look at these, whirring and twisting and skipping. Thank you, Jess Hamilton, for submitting this work. And Florrie, what a great name, Florrie, 9 years old, sent in by Mum, Anne-Marie Collins. Thank you, Anne-Marie. You've got an excellent exemplary exclamation sentence here. What an absolutely charming place. Well, your work has been truly phenomenal, and what I'm going to do now is give you a bit of time. You know the drill. You've got 30 seconds to get ready for writing. On the left half of the page you cut it into two lines here that creates 3 learning chunks. Those then get cut in half. So you have 6 word bank spaces, and we always put on the screen a signal where to put your vocabulary. Get ready then, writers. Right then, we always have guiding our way sections, categories, lenses from the writing rainbow. They illuminate our path, they illuminate our thinking. And do you know what's so exciting about today? We're going to do 3 lenses we've not done before. Well, we've done one of them actually. We've done sounds, and we're going to zoom into these, but these 2 are going to be new for us today in this unit. We're going to zoom into sounds, then we're going to pick up pathetic fallacy. Now, don't worry if you don't know what that means, because I'm going to help you understand it. But you'll notice here we've got a cloud and a broken heart. Pathetic fallacy is when there is mirroring in writing, when we have this sense of how a character feels, whether that's happy or sad, positive or negative, is reflected in the environment, reflected in nature, sometimes reflected in the weather. But we're going to be working on that mirroring today. And the third thing we're going to do is work with personification. And if you look closely at this big symbol, you can see personification is taking something that's inanimate and bring it to life and giving it human features that wouldn't normally be there. We think of something that isn't living and breathing and bring it to life like a human. But I'm here to help you with that. If you want to get hold of any of these big symbols, you can get them on the Training Space website and they will bring any classroom to life. Right then, where are we on our map? Well, it is the final plot point. It's plot point 8. We're just here. And this is the goodbye. We're going to watch the goodbye. We're going to watch more than just the goodbye, actually. It's the goodbye and Sean, the central character, who is us in our writing, going back to his normal life, his mundane, tedious, monotonous life, back to the world of work and back to getting on with the ordinary. Okay, let's have a look how the filmmaker takes it from the goodbye back to the normal world.
I still think about that lost thing from time to time, especially when I see something out of the corner of my eye that doesn't quite fit. You know, something with a weird, sad, lost sort of look. I see that kind of thing less and less these days. Maybe there aren't many lost things around anymore. Or maybe I've just stopped noticing them.
Right, learning chunk 1, we're going to focus on the goodbye. Now, Sean can actually say goodbye, but the lost thing doesn't communicate like that, doesn't work in the world of words. But we can see the lost thing and can imagine how he might say goodbye. And what we're going to zoom into now are sounds. And we're going to think about onomatopoeic sounds, sounds that reflect the noise they are making. I'm going to think in 3 areas. I'm going to think about the bell. And remember, we've done this before. Those people who remember, you can lean on those ideas. And some of you can even look back if you've kept them. But not just the bell sound. I want to think about sounds that the pincers might make, because the lost thing has kind of claw-like pincer hands. And what sounds would they make? Click, clack, something like that. And then the lid. When the lid rises and falls, I think that would make certain sounds. I'm going to write some ideas down now. For the bell, only because I know I didn't write this before, and I think it's quite a good idea. Ting-a-ling. The bell ting-a-linged. I'm going to hyphenate that so the reader reads it together. For the pincer, I'm going to write down snap. Oh, and maybe snip as well. Snip, snap, snap, snip. I could reverse those. I could hyphenate them as well, I suppose. And the lid, I'm going to write creak. Okay, jotters. I think you're going to be quite good at this. I'm going to give you 45 seconds to show me what you can do by yourself. Can you gather sounds that the lost thing makes as he says goodbye? I've thought of another idea for bell. What about this? Jangle. And what about this for pincers? Click. I'm going to audit an ad now. Wonder if you can get more than me. Okay, let's move over now to Word Bank 2. And this is where we're going to gather feelings. And these feelings are about you as Sean knowing exactly how the lost thing is feeling. Because you're pleased for them. Is that my door? Was that my door? Oh, well. Come in. It's on the latch. We know who this is, don't we?
Hello, Mrs. C.
Oh, hello, Grandma. I didn't think you were coming round today.
Well, my online Zumba class was cancelled because, unfortunately, the teacher's a little bit poorly today.
Oh, dear.
So I thought I'll come round and have a cup of tea,
Oh.
perhaps with a little drop of sherry in it.
Well, yes, maybe later, but we're having a lesson at the moment.
Okay. Well, I know you're having a lesson, Mrs. C, which is why
Yes.
I've come round, because I wanted to say a few things. I wanted to say...
Well, hold on a minute. If you're going to say things, and it's quite a lot, because I know you like to talk, Grandma, have you bought your basket?
Yes, of course. Let me just go and get it.
Go on then. Oh, what's she like? Sometimes she doesn't even tell me. She'll pop it in. Oh, well, oh, I love it. Well, feeling words. I didn't even know I needed these. Let's have a look what you got here. Well, this is a good one.
That word's pleased, because we're very pleased with all the hard work that everybody's put in on all of these units during this time, because a lot of people are at home having to work and it's very difficult for some people, so we're pleased with them.
Oh, that's a really lovely positive word. I'm definitely going to have that word. What about this word?
Oh yes, we're thankful.
Yes.
Thankful for all of the teachers and all of the dads and the mums and the grands and the granddads.
Yeah.
Which
okay.
I like granddads.
Yeah, but
Did I ever tell you that?
No, but I've already said that, Grandma.
Oh, yeah.
I've already thanked everybody, but I
Okay,
do think
thank
this
you.
is a really great word, really positive, a really special word, actually. I'm definitely going to have this one. I'm thankful you brought this in, actually. oh, this is good.
Well,
yes.
I know that you're delighted because you keep on tweeting about how delighted you are about the children's work.
Oh, I am delighted. That is true. And that's no joke. I really am
I'm
delighted.
not joking.
No, I know you weren't, but nor am I. I'm saying I really am delighted. Everyone's been working so hard. What are you going to do about your Zumba class then?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've got a couple of ideas how I'm going to spend the next hour.
Yes, well, I'm not doing anything after this
Well,
lesson.
if you're not doing anything after this lesson, what you could do, you could come onto I've got an online yoga class at 2:00. Would you like to come to that?
Well, actually, why not?
There is a space because the Zumba teacher has decided, because she's poorly, her space is available.
Oh.
I will give you some warnings though,
Oh.
because some of the characters in it are a little bit, how shall we say, eccentric.
Oh, unlike yourself.
No, yeah, exactly, completely different to me.
Well, look, you
Whatever
forget
you
about
do,
what?
do not stand behind Mr. Pearson.
Why?
Because when he gets into the downward dog, I don't want to tell you about, but you'll smell it.
Oh, Grandma, stop lowering the tone. I don't even think I can read this word. Can we get back to these words? What about this word?
Oh, that word is comfortable.
Oh, yeah.
Which you won't be if you're behind Mr. Pearson and he happens to let a little bit of a...
Right, thank you. Yes. Okay. Well, Grandma, we're trying to be positive today.
It is positive.
Okay.
Very good. It clears you out.
Oh, this is good.
Overjoyed, which is how I know you're feeling today, Mrs.
I am feeling like that.
And I know that all the teachers have been very tired and they can have a little bit of a break.
Well, that is true. I don't actually know what to wear to this yoga class. I'll have to have a little chat with you because I know
I've got some spare yoga pants for you.
Well, I don't think they'll fit me, but you've got some great outfits, I have noticed. And I do love your glittery leg warmers. Right, this word. It doesn't seem as good, actually.
Well, it's probably a little bit flatter.
Yes, let's forget that one. Anyway. Well, Grandma.
Right, I've got...
I know you've got to go. And don't leave without me, because I'm going to... Shall I come to your house? What are we going to do?
I've got my scooter outside.
Yes.
There's a little bit of room on the back you can jump on and we'll go off and we'll do it at my house.
Oh, exciting.
See you a bit later. I've got to go.
Right,
Bye.
see you later, Grandma. Oh, she's in good spirits. Right then, where were we? She always throws me off course a little bit. Let's have a look at these words. Some we know are more intense than others. I've written down Grandma's words here next to the shadeometer. I know some of you have shadeometers. You've got your own shadeometer that you write your words on. And that's great. And if you don't have a shadeometer, don't worry because you can do it on your word bank. What I want you to do now, if I write down content, well, we were talking about this, weren't we? Some are definitely more intense than others. What goes at the bottom? What goes at the top? I can't stop saying words like bottom now. Grandma's been here. I'm ever so sorry about that, children. Right, you know what I mean anyway. I'm giving you 45 seconds to sort these words into the less intense all the way up to the most intense. Off you go, writers. we're going to go straight into an audit and add, and I'm going to order these words. But don't worry if yours are in a slightly different order, because you're the writer, you're the one making the decisions. I think we're all going to agree which ones are at the bottom half of the shadeometer and which ones are at the top half. But let's have a look now. My words against your words. Off we go. Okay, I'm going to move now to writing side, and I'm going to join up these two ideas as part of the goodbye. The sounds that the lost thing makes, and then actually how Sean feels, because even though it's sad to say goodbye, I'm sure that he feels thankful and delighted that the lost thing has found his home. Right, let's get started. I'm going to start in this way, look, with and then drop straight away a sound, with a kaboom of its lid, with a snip snap of its pincers. What about bell? With a tinkle of its bell. Jingle, I think I'm going to have, with a jingle of its bell. And then I'm going to include another sound, so I can choose a pincer or a lid sound and a kaboom of its lid. Maybe that's too noisy, the kaboom. Actually, let's have a pincer noise with a snip, click, snip, snap. I'm going to do that, combine them with a hyphen, and a snip, snap of its pincers, comma, the thing said goodbye. That's a really interesting way to construct a sentence. Put in the really long clause there at the beginning with a jingle of its bell and a snip snap of its pincers. The thing said goodbye. Now I want to introduce how Sean feels, but Sean is us. We're writing a first person narrative. So I'm going to drop in now the pronoun I. I felt. Actually, you could have what I haven't got there. Look, I felt happy. I felt assured. They're good words as well. I felt satisfied. I felt content. They're all good, I think. I felt content to know it was now safe. It would be safe. It was now home. Oh, I like the idea of home. I felt content to know it was now home. Okay, writers, we're creating the goodbye. We're creating the goodbye with lost things sounds. And then we're including how you feel. It's hard to say goodbye, but you're pleased. And there are those of you out there who are going to impress me, I know, with deepening the moment. Off you go, writers. Well done, everybody. Excellent work. And teachers, if you found this way of working, this system called the Right Stuff really productive, and you've seen it have an impact with your children driving up standards, then I offer online training where I walk you through step by step how to be a Right Stuff teacher. And you can find more information here about my online training at janeconsidine.com. Right then, learning chunk 2. Let's have a little chat about that. So, this is where we are going to drop into a technique that's really quite ambitious. And we've got to empathise now that the friendship between Sean and the lost thing is now over. The lost thing is now found with his friends and his family, his real home. And Sean is left on his own in the world of work. It's a little bit greyer, it's a little bit more mundane and very ordinary. And we need to now collect some negative adjectives because we're going to mirror actually the environment being sombre and dingy and dismal alongside Sean feeling actually very dismal deep down. And it's when emotions and environments really work together, mirror and parallel each other. So, first things first, we need to collect some of these environmental words. In fact, these words to describe his normal world. The world of work, the world of jobs, the world of the ordinary, a little bit dingy, a little bit rainy, a little bit grey. Okay, here are my ideas. Overcast, a lot of cloud in the sky. I'm going to write this word down as well, gloomy. They're my 2 ideas. Remember in the film of The City, it was quite murky, quite foggy. How many words can you add, jotters, into Word Bank 1? Off you go. Oh, you're really good at that. I've just been thinking more there about pathetic fallacy. You know, when you watch films sometimes and something good is happening, really positive and wonderful, and 2 characters are getting on and having great fun. Filmmakers will often have in the sky sunshine, brightness. In fact, they might have birds tweeting and really positive, bright environments. But when something worrying or scary is happening, there might be lightning in the sky or thunder or really dark, oppressive atmospheres, and everything's very shadowy and grim. It's a really clever device used by filmmakers, but we can do exactly that in our writing. I'm going to add more negative environmental words now. What about this? Grey, dismal. I think you're going to be quite good at this. Let's audit and add. Let's move over now to Word Bank 2. And there are two ideas I want us to think about here. This is part of our writing preparation to write something with really good negative intent, sad face writing. I've got two ideas here to spark our thinking. The first one is the word boring. We need a whole collection of language to communicate to the reader that Sean finds his world not like the Lost Things world, that is colourful and bright and sunshiny and wondrous and enchanting, but it's boring. And it also has a sense of feeling sleepy, and that people are half asleep and not noticing what's happening in the world. I'm going to do some thesaurus thinking around the idea of boring. Monotonous. That's a good idea. Monotonous. Quite a long word, quite tricky. And an idea around sleepy, sluggish. This is a little bit tricky, but I'm going to challenge you now, Jotter. See if you can get two more words in these word bank mind maps. Off you go. Okay, straight into audit and add now, because we want to keep our ideas flowing. We don't want it to become too tedious or too draining or too samey. Off we go, audit and add. Right, now we've got our vocabulary vaults filled. We're going to lean on that language to draw now out some pathetic fallacy writing. We're going to have Sean, you, go back to the world of the mundane, and we're going to feel that it's grey and heavy and boring. Right then, one of the things we're going to do today, which is really interesting. So I want you to really listen to this part, because we're going to work with this idea that is very cinematic. A lot of filmmakers work in this way using visuals, but we're going to work in this way using writing. And this chunk, I'm going to teach you to do a zoom in, and the next chunk, I'm going to teach you to do a zoom out. Now, a zoom in is where a filmmaker takes a camera, and what we see as the viewer appears and to get closer and closer, the zoom in shot. And what we're going to do now in writing is we're going to take the reader's thinking from the wide view of the normal world to taking the view on a train, to looking at closer detail out of a window. So the zoom in is going to go wide, normal world, train view, and then through the window view. Right, let's now make our writing not break cohesion, keep with the pronoun I, because we are Sean. I returned, and I'm thinking first about this normal world idea. I returned back to the normal world. I returned to my normal life. I returned back to my ordinary, normal life. I like that. I returned back to my normal life. Now, watch closely what I do here. I am going to drop a colon. A colon looks like this, and it introduces almost like, for me, it's almost like two trumpet sounds. Do, do, do. Normal life, and then I'm going to describe it. And I've got all of these words here. In fact, I can mix them. I could take some of these adjectives here, or I can lean on these here. In fact, I can gather from both sides of this word bank fence. Back to my normal life, dingy, dismal. Back to my normal life, dull, sluggish. Back to my normal life, gloomy, uninteresting. Can you see how they all interplay beautifully here as I do a short list? It is short. I'm only going to use two words. Grey, I like that. Grey, dull. Grey, comma, dull, full stop. I separate those because those describe the normal life in two very different ways. The normal life is grey. The normal life is dull. Watch what I do now. I follow the pattern, but I take the central character on the train. I journeyed to work. I could say I take the train. I journeyed. Now that looks a bit confusing. Write that again, Mrs. C. I journeyed to work. In my ordinary way, in a monotonous way, in a mundane way, in a sluggish way. Journey to work in my ordinary way. Going to follow the same pattern, drop in the colon there, and then choose two negative synonyms. The journey, tedious, dingy, dull, uninteresting. I've already used dull. What about long? The journey's long. I've not got long on my list, but I think long would work. Long, mundane. Again, two descriptive words. Mundane. Good job on rereading there. Mundane. Okay, that little list there relates to the sentence before, the clause before. I journey to work in my ordinary way. The journey is long, mundane. And as I zoom in further now, I'm going to think about the view from the window, what I can see. I looked out, I stared out, I gazed out. I looked out at the overcast world, the dingy world, the tedious world. I haven't used any of these sleepy words. I looked out at the sluggish world. I like that. I also like this word here, colourless. I looked out, I've not done very well on spacing there. Let's do that again. I looked out at the colourless world. You can guess what I'm going to do now. I'm going to drop two words to describe the previous clause. It says more about it. Tedious, weary. Can you see as well, we've done that pattern of 3, the power of 3, always the same structure. 2 adjectives dropped at the end. Okay, writers, work hard on this. This is going to make a strong finale. Off you go. It's really high order what you've been doing then, and really impressive. And a really clever way to use punctuation to take control as a writer and really craft things up in a very precise way. We're now going to move on to learning chunk 3, and this is where we're going to get ready for our zoom out of the city. But our city is sad, and our city is lonely. Our city feels lost and lonely and doesn't feel as happy as the lost things environment, which is glittering and glimmering with happiness and wonder. What we're going to do is think in 2 parts. First part, word bank 1. We're going to gather to assist us in our zoom out all objects, items and buildings we would see in a city. But I need you to organise them. I need you to categorise them into 3 sections. When I talk about things you'd see almost in the wide, big panoramic view, that is almost at building level, sky level, really wide. So sky, cloud, it's almost like you're a bird a bird's eye view, looking down the big stuff, you know, sky, clouds, buildings. This is the sort of thing I mean. I'm going to write down skyscrapers. You'd see skyscrapers in the city. Now, mid-view, it's when you're getting closer, a lot closer into things like gardens and shops maybe, or even furniture on the street. So it could be things like street lights, or you can see things with more detail rather than the big stuff like skyscrapers. You get closer to a city and you can see things like scrapyards where all the old cars are piled up and collected. Scrapyards. And then close up, things like dustbins. They're my 3 ideas, jotters. Can you take the reader from wide view, mid view, into the close-up view and think about the buildings and objects in a city? Off you go. Straight into audit and add. Okay, well done everybody. Let's move over now to Word Bank 2. And Word Bank 2 is helping us get ready for personification. We are going to put feelings into things that aren't human. We're going to take big views of a city. We're going to think about skyscrapers and think, how do they feel? And we're going to think about post boxes in this dull, sombre world. How do they feel? And we're going to gather words to show that they feel sad and they feel lonely. So I'm going to do some thesaurus thinking around this. So other words for sad, sorrowful. Other words for lonely, abandoned. Okay, jotters, off you go. Okay, we're getting ready to give emotions to inanimate objects. But I've had another idea because this might help us with our writing, not just giving them emotions, thinking about, well, if they were people, what do people do when they're sad? What do people do when they're lonely? And I'm going to write this idea down. They might frown. They might sigh. I now want us to audit and add, not forgetting about sad and lonely emotional words, but also what people might do, because we could assign those person characteristics to these items. Off you go, audit and add. Okay, let's move to writing side and finish with the zoom out, where we move from somewhere close in the environment, mid-range in the environment, and the wide view. In fact, we're going to do it this way round. We're going to choose something from here, then here, then here. And that's a really good way to finish a story, the pan out. Okay, so I'm going to start with something nearby. I love all of these, drain pipes, gutters. I'm going to start with post boxes, I think. Post boxes. Post boxes, and now I'm going to assign a feeling. Post boxes were downhearted. Post boxes were solitary. Sad words are going to work better, I think. Post boxes, what about this word on its own? Look, post boxes were lonely. Post boxes were lonely, and what humans do when they're a bit fed up. And dreaming of travel. They want something to look forward to. And dreaming of travel. That's my close item. I'm now going to choose a mid item. Oh, I love street lights and I love chimneys. I'm going to have a go though with traffic lights. Traffic lights. Traffic lights were sad, glum, heartbroken. I actually liked sad. Traffic lights were sad and trying to change their mindset. It's that sort of it belongs to the traffic lights. We're trying to change their outlook. Outlook's kind of better, perspective, because they're looking out. It's almost like the eyes of the traffic light. We're trying to change their outlook. And then the factories, the cranes. Oh, that'd be good. I'm gonna have skyscrapers. Maybe I'd want all the buildings. Buildings. I think it's better if it's more precise, actually. Skyscrapers. Skyscrapers were sighing. Yeah, that's what people do. We're frowning. Skyscrapers were sighing under the weight, under the heaviness of the smog, of the city smog, were sighing under the weight of the monotonous sky. Oh, that's good. I surprise myself sometimes under the weight of the monotonous sky. Right, children, I challenge you. I want 3 elements from a city environment. The close-up, the mid-range, the wide view. We're going to do a big panoramic finish for our finale, and you're putting in the feelings to bring something that isn't to life to person. Off you go. Right, I'm going to read my work back. It's really interesting, isn't it, to write something that doesn't have an obvious happy ending. It does for the lost thing, but Sean is left stuck in his world. Let's read it. With a jingle of its bell and a snip snap of its pincers, the thing said goodbye. I felt content to know it was now home. I returned back to my normal life, grey, dull. I journeyed to work in my ordinary way, long, mundane. I looked out at the colourless world, tedious, weary. Post boxes were lonely and dreaming of travel. Traffic lights were sad and trying to change their outlook. Skyscrapers were sighing under the weight of the monotonous sky. This is going to be superb. Right then, we've nearly finished, but before I go, can I just say a very heartburst and heartfelt thank you to the squad. We have got a teacher squad, and Miss Shaw is sharing her amazing work, love, sharing and caring in our gang. And if you want to join our gang and you're a teacher, hop in, get involved. We're on Facebook and there's so much kindness amongst us all as teachers. She's shared her plot point map, her fantastic symbols. It is a year 3 classroom of dreams. But it's not just Miss Shaw, it is Harrison. Harrison, it's your birthday today. You are 8 years old and I'm sending you a big fat PHAT. Happy birthday. Enjoy your day. You are from St Mary's Catholic Primary School in Poole and you've been with me since the beginning. Good lad, Harrison. And, well, we've had lots of love, to be honest. Lots of love on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. And Mary Board from Frettingham Primary School, thank you for this. We loved your lessons and produced some truly spectacular writing. Thank you, Mary. And then thank you everybody on Twitter who have sent in their displays. And look at this from Mr. Menhennett. Gorgeous. We've only been using your work since September, but it's made a huge difference to the quality of writing. Oh, thank you. You've been so supportive, absolutely delightful. And what I want to... I think it's yoga time, actually. Come in then. All right, I'm just finishing off, Grandma. Yes, so I'm going to have a bit of a break and have a little bit of time off.
Hello, Mrs. C.
Hello, Grandma.
Are you ready for you? Have you got your Leica on yet?
Not yet.
No, I'm going to have to hurry you up though because we've got to get out of here fairly quickly because we've got the yoga class and I don't want to get there late because otherwise if we get there late we'll have to be stood next to Mrs. R and Mrs. R will chew your ear off.
Okay.
She doesn't
more than you.
Oh yes, well I don't chew people's ears off.
No.
But Mrs. R is very boring. She's very tedious. She's very monotonous.
I get the idea. Yes.
And she smells. So, can you please hurry up? I'm going to wait on my scooter, get it started up. I'll see. Goodbye, everybody. Have a nice time. See you later, Mrs.
I'll be there in a minute. I've just got to get my glittery leg warmers on.
Okay, great. Oh, I love leg warmers. See you in a bit.
See you in a bit, darling. Oh, she is full of excitement today, vim and vigour and all that jazz. Right, so I can't stay. I've got to go and get my shimmy and shake on. Are we doing Zumba or yoga? I think it's yoga, actually. It might be a little bit calmer. Get your work into me. I will read it. I love reading it. Hashtag English with Mrs. C. And I will see you all soon. But for now, goodbye.